Jesse Marsch has been appointed Leeds United manager pending international clearance. This after Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa parted ways over the weekend. The move comes a little less than 3 months after Marsch himself was let go by RB Leipzig and makes Marsch, at 48 years old, just the third American ever, along with Bob Bradley at Swansea and David Wagner at Huddersfield Town, to manage in the Premier League. Here's Marsch just hours after taking over.
One of the things I love about this team right now is their commitment, no matter how difficult the games have been, to play to the end, to fight for each other, to never stop, to give everything that they have to each other at every moment. So this mentality, this mindset to play for the fans, to fight for the fans, to fight for each other, this is what I love. And I think my style of play, my aggressiveness, the desire I have for teams to be intensive and to run and to make things difficult for the opponent fits with what has been done here the last 3.5 years. So it will be a big challenge to do it in a short period of time and now make sure that we evolve in a way that can be successful for what the future may bring, but do it now. I have a lot to prove to our fan base that I'm the right guy to follow such a hero like Marcelo Bielsa. But I think the key is that when they see the team play, right, and if the team plays with passion and they play with heart and they give everything they have and they show that they're also intelligent and clear with the playing model and they're aggressive, then I think normally the fans will tolerate the coach even if they don't like his accent or if he's not as popular as the previous coach. And over time, I found that I've always had an incredibly passionate and well-connected relationship with the fan bases everywhere I've gone.
So there we have it, Herc. Leeds United right now, 16th place in the Premier League, very much in a relegation dogfight. Is it the ideal landing spot for Jesse Marsch?
I feel so. In terms of playing style, it's very similar to Marcelo Bielsa. You look at the high intensity, how aggressive they are going forward, that full throttle type of football. Maybe not defensively because Marcelo Bielsa was more man-on-man marking, sort of like Matias Almeida and what he deployed at Chivas or San Jose, which is very dangerous, very chaotic, and which is why, quite frankly, we see Leeds as the league's worst defense in the Premier League. But in terms of playing style, it won't be something he's unfamiliar with. It's the same type of brand that's given him success at Red Bull New York and Red Bull Salzburg. It's also very similar to what these players are used to. The only difference maybe is the defensive cues. Not man marking, more zoning, more off plays, more off cues, off of sequences. That'll change, but this is an ideal situation for Jesse Marsch. Listen, not too many people get a chance to be a part of a Premier League setup. If you have that type of opportunity, especially for a guy like Jesse Marsch, you take it. You heard that last little cue right there where he mentioned his accent. And I've always said, and you know this, I'm a big proponent that the American passport plays against the players, the managers when it comes in Europe, no more than in the Premier League.
Look, it's not ideal. It is a good landing spot. I got to say, I'm pretty surprised, Herc, because when Jesse Marsch goes out of RB Leipzig the way that he does, I don't think a lot of us were saying, all right, his next job is going to be in the Premier League. I think this is, we have to say in some way, this is a surprise. You gave a lot of reasons why you think it's an ideal landing spot. Let me give you a few why I think it's not. One, I don't think going into a relegation fight is ideal for a manager, right? They're 16th right now. They're 2 points from the drop zone, and the two teams that are directly behind them have 2 games in hand. So there's a lot of work to do for Jesse Marsch. It's a very pressure situation. Not that RB Leipzig wasn't, but I think so even more here, right? You're talking about surviving in the Premier League. A couple other reasons. He's following, as he mentioned in that interview, an absolute club legend in Bielsa. They love him there. He's the guy that after 16 years away from the Premier League got them there. So I think, to me, you don't ever want to be the guy that follows the guy. Following Bielsa is not going to be easier. The one thing I'll say is this, too. It's not just that he's American, Herc. It's that the ownership is American. Let's not forget, about half this team is owned by the San Francisco 49ers. If you go back to Bob Bradley's time at Swansea, yes, they picked on Bob Bradley because he was an American. I think it hurt him double because the ownership at Swansea, much like the ownership here at Leeds United, was also American. So it's not just an American coach, it's an American coach brought in by American owners. And that worries me for Jesse Marsch, because we know if the fans turn against you, that's when you get in trouble. Let's get to brass tacks time here, Herc. He's got 12 games left. You think Jesse Marsch is going to save Leeds United from relegation?
That's the $1 million question, right? But if we
Maybe
look at the numbers,
more than $1 million.
A lot, you're right. But parachute payments at the championship will get you back up if you're smart about it. If I'm Jesse Marsch, I'm not taking this job, this opportunity, unless I know that there's a chance that even if I do go down, they see confidence in me to bring the team back up. Now, you're right about not wanting to be the man that comes after the man. And that's happened to him already at Leipzig with Julian Nagelsmann. We see how that happened. We see how that turned out for him. What I will say is, if you go and look at last place Norwich City to 11th place, that right now is Crystal Palace, the difference is 13 points, Seb. It's 13 points, 12 games. This team needs to be better defensively. That's it. Offensively, they're a very good team. Lots of injuries this season. A very bad defensive team that got in a very, I don't even want to say bad defensive team, a team that got in a defensive weak mode, and I think Jesse can get him out of that. This is a team that offensively can play well in that chaotic type of style that he can deploy. I don't see why not. But that said, it is the Premier League. Every game will be a dogfight.
20 goals conceded, Herc, in their last 5. He's got to sort that out. Now, their next 6 is not bad. The run-in's not all bad. The last 6 is where I get worried. He's got Chelsea, he's got City, he's got Arsenal, and he's got a game the last day of the season against Brentford. Watch out. That might be for salvation in the Premier League. One more thing worth noting. A lot of this is going to come down to the health of a couple key players. Calvin Phillips, who we saw at the Euros for England, key player that isn't playing right now. Patrick Bamford, that's where your goals come from. He's not playing. But both those guys reportedly could be back in as little as 10 days. If those guys come back, they slide right into the lineup, and they start producing, then Jesse Marsch, I think you got a pretty good chance at keeping Leeds up.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.